Pick a path. Each choice leads to new doors and options. You chose to stay where you are. The halls shift into a pink labyrinth of endless pools with soft light reflecting off the water. Lounges appear at random, always clean and empty. There is no food, but the water is safe to drink, and you will not feel hunger the way you should. The calm is misleading. Signs begin to appear along the walls. Tsunami incoming. At first they are rare, then they repeat, then they block your path. You never hear waves, but pressure builds somewhere beyond the maze. Do not ignore the signs. Rest when needed, but do not stay in one place for long. Eventually, you reach two choices: a wooden rowboat at the ocean's edge or a descending staircase. Choose carefully. You chose to go on the boat. The current immediately takes you, steady and controlled with no resistance at all. The water pulls in one direction only, and you quickly realize you are not guiding anything, you are being guided. A small box of crackers and a soda sit beside you, but you are not going to need them. You look ahead and think you see land, something low on the horizon, but it begins to rise, slowly at first, then higher and higher, stretching upward in a way that makes no sense. It is not land, it is the wave. It has already formed, and the current was always leading you toward it. There is nothing you can do now, no way to turn, no way to escape. You just wait. Your journey is over, and you do not continue. Goodbye. You enter an underground subway station with shallow water covering the floor. You hear water flowing somewhere nearby, though you can never find the source. The water level is already rising, slow but constant. Standing still is not an option. Move forward and stay centered, avoiding any smaller corridors or turns as they narrow and trap the water faster. Watch the walls and ceiling carefully. In some sections you will see exposed wires hanging low, and the closer the water gets to them, the more dangerous it becomes. As the level continues to rise, walking becomes difficult, then impossible, and you are forced to swim. Eventually, the path opens into three choices: a wooden boat drifting into a drain that leads toward the ocean, an inviting train cabin with full power and light, or a dark tunnel with no visible end. You decided to enter the train. Inside, the cabins are quiet and identical, each one connected to the next with no variation at all. You can move forward or backward, but nothing changes, and there is no clear beginning or end. At first, the windows show only darkness, a flat void with no detail, but over time it opens into a wide landscape of mountains and green fields that stretch endlessly. Each cabin contains complimentary food and drinks, always restocked, and the seats are just comfortable enough to make you want to rest. Eventually, you are left with two options: leave the train and explore the world outside, or remain and continue forward towards somewhere even better. You decided to enter the elevator. As it descends, the hum of the cables grows louder until the doors open into a silent bookstore with no books and no people, only rows of empty shelves stretching farther than expected. At first it feels contained, but every turn reveals larger sections expanding outward along the walls, making the space feel endless. The overhead lights buzz constantly, and scattered water fountains appear in random places, offering water but nothing else. At unpredictable moments, the power cuts completely, dropping everything into total darkness, and each time it happens, you must return to the exact point where you first entered, locate the computer, and restore the lights before continuing. This slows you down, but it is the only way forward. If you lose track of your path, you will not find your way back. Eventually, you reach a room with 3 exits: a dark tunnel with shallow water, an emergency exit door, and a hole in the floor leading deeper with a ladder. You decided to exit using the door. The moment you step outside, the space opens into a vast flat grassland under a sky where the sun never sets. At first it feels calm, almost perfect. But the longer you stand there, the more the feeling shifts into something wrong, not being watched, but affected, like something is pressing on your mind slowly. You will notice tall transmission towers scattered across the field. You must stay away from them, because even at a distance they produce a constant pressure you cannot hear but can feel building over time. Trees and buildings appear far away on the horizon, but do not move toward them unless there is a clear dirt path, because distance here is distorted and you will never reach them otherwise. There is no food or water anywhere, so stopping is not an option. Keep moving. Eventually you will reach two dirt paths. One leads toward a distant mountain range, and the other disappears into a dense forest. You enter the mountain range. The air immediately feels clean and steady, with a constant breeze moving through the open fields and tree lines. During the day, you are free to explore, and the environment feels stable enough to move without urgency. Scattered wooden cottages appear along the paths, and it is in your best interest to stay near them, as they contain basic food and simple living supplies that will sustain you. Do not wander too far from these structures. By nightfall, you must be inside one of the cottages and attempt to sleep. You may hear knocking at the door, footsteps outside the windows, or see faint silhouettes moving behind the curtains. Do not respond. Do not look. Remain inside until morning. Once daylight returns, you may continue exploring. Eventually, you reach two options: a train with its doors open, or a road leading toward a suburban neighborhood. The train begins to move, and within an hour the mountain range fades behind you. Through the window of the train, a distant city slowly comes into focus. At first it seems unreal, too clean, too structured, but as you get closer, the details sharpen into a modern skyline filled with light and movement. When the train stops, you step out into a place where everything is available without limit. You are given a penthouse overlooking the entire city, along with unrestricted internet access, allowing you to contact and invite anyone you want. Inside, a machine can produce any food you request, instantly and without error, and a helicopter is always ready to take you anywhere within the city at any time. There are endless things to do, endless places to go, and nothing here restricts you. You may stay as long as you want, or you may leave whenever you choose. Your journey ends here. Goodbye. You enter the forest. The moment you step inside, something feels wrong. Heavy air pressing against you as humidity builds and insects begin crawling up your legs almost immediately. It is not safe to stop here. Most of what you feel on your skin is venomous, and the longer you remain still, the worse it becomes. Do not sit. Do not lie down. Do not try to rest. If you stay in one place for too long, spiders will begin forming thick webs around you, slowly restricting your movement until you cannot escape. The only advantage you have is speed. The faster you move, the less time insects have to latch onto you, so keep going and watch your step carefully as the ground becomes uneven and harder to see. Do not lose momentum. Eventually, the path splits into two. One is unmarked and the other is clearly labeled with a sign that reads, "Home." You enter a suburban neighborhood where identical houses stretch for miles in every direction, each street looking exactly like the last. At first it feels normal, quiet even, but you quickly realize not every house carries the same risk. Some homes contain plenty of food, working electricity, entertainment, and comfortable places to sleep, while others will never let you leave once you enter. By nightfall, you must already be inside a house because remaining outdoors after dark is extremely dangerous. Before entering, study the signs carefully. Safe homes are usually marked by open curtains, porch lights that remain steadily on, and faint television sounds from inside. Dangerous homes are often marked by a car sitting in the driveway, curtains fully shut, and a garage door left slightly open. If you hear movement inside before entering, avoid the house entirely. To escape back to reality, you must eventually find a safe house containing a basement with a door labeled home. This may take months or even years to locate. Good luck. You decided to enter the tunnel. After a few seconds of complete darkness, you emerge into a wide, lazy river illuminated by soft-colored lights and distant ambient music echoing through the air. Along the river are small concession stands stocked with snacks, drinks, and anything else you may need. For the first time in a long while, you may feel completely at ease here. However, there is one rule you must never break. Do not leave the river. No matter what you think you see beyond the edges, remain in the water at all times. Those who leave the river are never seen entering it again. Eventually, the current slows to a complete stop, leaving you floating in silence before three new choices. Continue farther down the river, walk up a nearby staircase, or enter a tunnel glowing with an unnatural light. This was not supposed to happen. You find yourself in an endless marble expanse above the clouds, surrounded by towering archways and reflective black and white floors that stretch farther than you can see. You are dizzy, lightheaded, and unable to remember how you arrived here. The feeling does not fade. As you explore, the layout subtly rearranges itself behind you, making it impossible to track where you have already been. Do not touch the floating orbs. Contact with them strips away whatever memories you still have left. You will likely find the exits hidden beneath some of the large marble arch corridors stretching across the void. Eventually, you are presented with two choices: a rowboat waiting at the edge of the structure, guaranteed to drag you out into the ocean, or an opportunity to restart your journey entirely and forget this place ever existed. You decided to go up the stairs. After climbing for several minutes, you emerge into a massive indoor water park sitting completely empty after hours. The sound of flowing water echoes endlessly through the corridors, making the entire place feel alive even though nobody else is there. The water looks clean, warm, and inviting, but you must never enter it. A highly toxic bacteria known as Legionella thrives in the pools here, and even brief skin contact can be lethal within hours. Be careful where you walk, because the floors are constantly wet and some slopes are steep enough to send you sliding directly into the water before you can stop yourself. Do not underestimate how easy it is to fall here. The structure loops heavily into itself, so eventually you will circle toward the exit whether you intend to or not. In time, you arrive at two final choices: a pair of glass doors leading out into a forest, or a dark water slide descending into darkness. You decided to go down the hole. You descend a long metal ladder into an industrial tunnel buried deep underground. The air is thick, humid, and filled with the strong smell of sulfur, enough to make you think there may be a natural gas leak somewhere nearby. Narrow maintenance corridors eventually open into a massive concrete bunker system designed for shelter during war or disease outbreaks, with endless halls, storage sections, and abandoned infrastructure stretching far beneath the surface. You may occasionally find small rooms containing limited supplies like bottled water, canned food, batteries, or flashlights, but do not rely on them lasting long. The deeper you move into the bunker, the stronger the sulfur smell becomes, and it slowly starts burning your throat and eyes. You should keep moving and avoid staying in enclosed rooms for too long. Eventually, the bunker ends at a dead end containing three paths: a tunnel with a blinding white light, a water slide descending into darkness, or a sewer tunnel carrying slow-moving water deeper underground. You decided to enter the sewer. The smell of sewage hits you immediately, thick enough to make breathing uncomfortable as you move deeper into the tunnels. Most areas have narrow, elevated walkways above the water, but some sections are submerged, forcing you to step directly into the sewage to continue forward. When this happens, you can feel waste and debris striking against your legs as you walk, and the contaminated water quickly causes painful rashes and possible infection wherever it touches your skin. Weak industrial lights flicker throughout the tunnels, while darker areas often lose power completely and act as overflow zones for the rest of the sewer system. Avoid those sections whenever possible. Occasionally, maps attached to the walls provide rough guidance through the complex. Following them carefully will eventually lead you to two choices: a bright white tiled tunnel or a restricted ladder leading upward. You decided to go up the ladders. After climbing for several minutes, you emerge onto a quiet coastal cliff overlooking a beautiful, endless beach. Waiting for you is a fully furnished beach house with large windows facing the ocean and stairs leading directly down to the shore. Day or night, the beach is completely safe. Inside the home, you have internet access, comfortable living conditions, and an unlimited supply of food and drinks. The waves are calm, the weather is perfect, and every morning feels peaceful. However, there is one problem. You may never leave this place. Attempting to travel too far from the beach or surrounding cliffs will cause you to suddenly lose consciousness, only to wake up back in your bed overlooking the ocean. Eventually, the comfort becomes repetitive. You will walk the same shoreline, hear the same waves, and watch the same sunsets for decades. Nothing dangerous will ever happen here. Nothing new will either. At least you are safe. Enjoy your stay. You enter a massive, endless complex of white-tiled rooms, flooded hallways, submerged staircases, and silent pools stretching farther than you can see. The air is warm and humid, and the sound of gently moving water echoes endlessly through the empty structures. This place is known as the pool rooms. Unlike most places, this environment is completely calm. You are free to wander and explore however you wish. Every corridor leads to new chambers, deeper pools, underwater passages, balconies, and strange open spaces lit by soft artificial light. There is no food. However, the clean water throughout the pools is safe to drink and can sustain you for several weeks. Sleep may become difficult due to the constant ambient echo of water and distant splashing from unknown locations. Following the glowing emergency exit signs placed throughout the structure will lead you to three choices: a corridor with stale yellow wallpaper and buzzing fluorescent lights, a brightly lit arcade echoing with distant machines, or a plain door guaranteed to return you home, without a doubt. You decided to pick the corridor straight ahead. You swear this place looks familiar. The fluorescent lights, yellowed wallpaper, and damp beige carpets feel strangely recognizable, as if you have seen this place before in a dream you forgot years ago. The air smells like mildew and stale carpet, and the constant buzzing of the lights quickly gives you a headache. You wander through endless hallways, empty rooms, strange corners, and massive open areas with no furniture or signs of life. Every room feels almost identical to the last. You search for any sign of an exit, but this place may not have one at all. Some people refer to this as level 0 of the Backrooms. Very few are confirmed to have escaped, and if you somehow do leave, you will only end up in another level. Your journey does not end here. Good luck. You decided to pick the arcade. The machines constantly flash bright colors and make endless noise, yet the entire building is completely empty. Every game is powered on, but none of them are actually playable. The carpet glows under the dim neon lights, and music echoes through the halls from speakers you can never locate. Food and drinks will always be found behind the concession stand, no matter how many times you return. During the day, the arcade feels almost comforting. However, every night at exactly midnight, the entire power grid shuts off without warning. You are heavily advised to make your way to the security room before this happens. Inside are monitors showing different sections of the arcade. It is your job to report any activity you believe is paranormal. If you fail to report something correctly, this place will slowly begin altering your memories, causing you to forget names, faces, and eventually your own life before arriving here. The only exit will unlock after 5 continuous years of service. Then you may finally go home. Good luck. You decided to go home. You step through the door and onto the front porch of your house. The air feels calm. The street lights glow normally. The wind moves through the trees, and everything looks exactly as you remember it. Your neighborhood is here. Your home is here, but nobody else is. Stores remain open, but every building is completely empty. Phones never ring. Televisions only play static. It is just you and an entire world with no other people left in it. There is no danger here. You may eat any food you find without paying, sleep wherever you want, and travel anywhere across the empty world. Nothing will ever try to hurt you. However, nothing will ever speak to you either. You are stuck here forever, completely alone. Your journey ends here. Goodbye.